Hi, welcome everybody to the Long Island Adoptive Families Educational Interview Series. I am Shemin Vizzi, and today we have Colleen. So thanks for joining us, Colleen. I'm going to have Colleen introduce herself and what she does for a living. Hi, Colleen.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Why don't you tell everybody what you do?
So my name is Colleen Myers. I work for Hope for Youth. We're based in Amityville. Hope for Youth was granted the Wendys Wonderful Kids program through the Dave Thomas Foundation for Adoption. So my official title is Wendys Wonderful Kids Recruiter. I can go into what
Why don't you start off by saying what Hope for Youth is,
Sure.
and then lead into what Wendys Wonderful Kids is.
Sure. So Hope for Youth has been around for almost 50 years. Next year, we'll be celebrating our 50th year. We service kids who are in the foster care system. We certify foster homes. We do traditional foster care and therapeutic foster care and foster to adopt as well. We also have a variety of other programs. We have a diagnostic center. We have a non-secure detention attached to the building. We also do intense family therapy. So we bring in families together who may be having some troubles, and we do, intensive work with them. We also do like your traditional foster care, and then we have group homes as well. We have a boys' home, and we have a runaway youth homeless shelter also.
Okay, so what's Wendys Wonderful Kids? What specifically does that mean to
Yeah. So Hope for Youth was chosen to host the Wendys Wonderful Kids grant. So there is a Wendys Wonderful Kids recruiter in all 50 states. And like I said, this is through the Dave Thomas Foundation for Adoption. Dave Thomas was an amazing hero for adoptive work throughout the country. He spent the majority of his later years championing for adoption. I believe it was Reagan that said that we need to do something more for these kids that are in foster care, who are not being adopted. Kids are aging out of care. They have nowhere to go. They have no family. That we're seeing a decline in these kids. They come out of foster care and then they're just on their own. We need somebody to do something about this. And Dave Thomas stepped up, created the Dave Thomas Foundation for Adoption, and puts thousands of millions of dollars into work just specifically for adoption. So the signature program through the foundation is Wendys Wonderful Kids. And they work with a child-focused recruitment model. So we have a small caseload of kids. I only have I have 15 right now, but a recruiter will have anywhere between 12 and 15, and that's maxed out. That's opposed to your traditional caseworker that's going to have, upwards of 30 kids on their caseload.
Right.
So the idea is that I make a connection with the kids. We do a child-focused recruitment technique where we specifically look at the child. We look at what they want out of a family. We look into their network. We look back into their record, and we look who maybe was looked over at one point. Maybe some Aunt Susie stepped up as a resource at one time, and it wasn't a good time, 10 years ago, but now the child is still in foster care. Maybe Aunt Susie's in a better place right now. Maybe we can look into her. We do this deep dive into their life to find out who is going to be their person, because the mission of the Wendys Wonderful Kids program is to never let a child age out of foster care alone. That's the ultimate goal.
So if, say, for instance, and this is so that way I may know the answer, but for everyone else to know the answer. So say, for instance, I'm just a person on Long Island and I want to do foster care. What would be the difference between going through DSS versus going through Hope for Youth?
You can do both, and both are going to have, pros and cons. DSS is a very big organization, obviously. But at Hope for Youth, you're going to get more personal attention. We offer therapy to all of our kids. We have a clinic here We have your foster care caseworkers are all here. Everything falls under the one umbrella of Hope for Youth, as opposed to other agencies that might, and DSS included, that might branch out everybody. Where they're going to say, okay, you're going to go to the doctor here, you're going to go to this person here, you're going to go to this one. Everything falls under our umbrella, and it's all at our office in Amityville. So for the foster homes that are in our area, it's very convenient, and everything is always going to be here. We also have a transport team, so we can assist with, driving. It's just very personal attention. It's
so after someone does decide to foster or adopt through your agency, so you obviously have a ton of different support things in place for them for transitioning and getting help, and that's what you were saying before about what kind of
and it all falls under the one umbrella of Hope for Youth. So everything is going to happen here, and everybody works as a team together here. So the therapist, the clinician, the doctor, the foster care team, everybody's going to be working.
Yeah, I find that a lot of people who call me to learn about foster care get scared that they're not going to get the support after.
That is, and that's really hard. And that's something that the Wendys program can help with too, because I follow the kids. So if one of my kids on my caseload is in a placement and then something happens, I follow the child. So I go with them until they're finalized, until they're adopted, until they've reached the end of the program. I'm with them. So I have kids now that have been in, more than one placement, but they still have me. So there's always this level of support that is going to stay consistent. And we try to keep that same mentality at Hope for Youth too. So no matter where the kids are in their process, they could be day one into foster care, or they could have been here for a long time. They're still going to have similar people that are under the same umbrella. It's not going to be branched out and everybody trying to talk to everybody, and then, things get missed that way.
So you do foster to adopt.
Mm-hmm.
So is it like a streamlined thing, or is it more you have to foster like DSS and then hopefully they came up for adoption, or are there children available for adoption, and how long is that process? If so, technically, how long would that take? Is that a years and years process, or?
Traditionally, it is going to be a while. It's going to be, I think it's at least 2 years.
Okay.
If you have a child, then we have kids. It just depends, because we're a volunteer agency. So we're going to get kids that come in that are coming into foster care. So we do our foster parents are interested in adopting, but they are going to know that this is the situation, and we respect our foster parents. So if we have somebody that comes to us and says, I don't want to do traditional foster care, I really just want somebody that I can have at least the possibility of adopting, or it's going to be a long-term placement, then we listen to you. We're not going to give you somebody that's a respite case, or somebody that looks like they're on their way back to mom and dad. We're going to hold off and wait for the right child to come in. That's another thing that Hope for Youth does extremely well. They really listen to their foster parents and respect them, and make sure that they're not overwhelmed, that they're not overburdened with kids that they're being asked to take.
Absolutely. Absolutely. What can I ask you, what brought you into doing something like this
So I was adopted as an infant. Adoption has always been something that I've been very proud of. I grew up always knowing that I was adopted and just thinking it was like awesome. And I realized what a special gift I was given. And as I got older, and I had my own children, I have 2 biological children. One is 1 year old and my son is 3. When I had my 3-year-old, I really realized like, oh my God, like what an amazing gift I was given. And the adoption was just always something in the back of my mind. And then this program was brought to Long Island, and it was brought to my attention. And I thought, well, I could do that. I'm adoption. I want to help other kids get adopted. And awesome. It's just been unbelievably rewarding.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing that. So why don't you tell everybody where, how to find you guys, your number, things like that, or a website that they can look for, and I can put that up as well.
Sure. So if you're interested in traditional foster care, therapeutic foster care, foster to adopt, you can go to www.hfyny.org. That's our website, and there'll be a form on there that you can submit, and then our foster care team will reach out to you. And the best way to do it, and I tell everybody, if you're even at least a little bit interested in anything that has to do with foster care, adoption, whatever, come in for an orientation. All agencies have to have an orientation. Ours is no different. You come in, it's about 2 hours, and we're going to tell you, you know, the nuts and bolts of the process, so that any questions that you have, it's a great time to ask then, to pick the brain of the woman who's our home finder. Her name's Margarita. She's very knowledgeable. She'll go over all those fears that you might have and any sort of questions that you might have. It's a great way to learn about the process and learn if it's right for you.
Right, right, right. Well, thank you very much for joining us today. And as I said, everybody, I'm going to put the information up on the screen right as I finish, so that way you can get in contact with Hope for Youth if you're interested. Thank you very much for joining us, everyone.